Yo, what's up, everybody? Episode 10 of the NY Yankee Dad podcast. Are the Yankees still the Yankees? Brought to you by your Bronx dentist. Come meet Dr. Rebbe and his team at two convenient locations in the Throgs Neck and Norwood sections of the Bronx. Schedule your next appointment online at yourbronxdentist.com. So, let's get right into it. It's been a while, about 2 weeks since I last hopped on here and talked to you guys in the solo format of the podcast. I if you haven't caught it already, I was on the Empire State Sports Report with Adriana, talking about the Yankees last week that dropped on Thursday, right before spring games started on Friday. So I've made a few videos here and there. The story on Instagram has been active as usual, but it has been almost 2 weeks since coming on to talk to you guys, and a lot's been going on. As you see here, I'm attempting, for the first time really in long time doing a beard, trying to, getting with the times, just like the Yankees, and big culture change, as what I think, and a lot of what has went on so far and what's going on now has big culture change for the Yankees. So if you haven't heard already, you must live under a rock. But the Yankees all get rid of the facial hair policy, for the first time in about 50 years. In 1976, when George M. Steinbrenner bought the team from CBS, he implemented the rule. And back then he talked about how mutton chops was still allowed, and that was the big sideburns. But back then it was basically his combat against, like, pretty much like the disco era. Guys with, Roy White had an afro, he didn't like that. And Thurman Munson hair was a little bit longer below the collar, like it wasn't supposed to be. And you saw some pictures. He had a there was one spring he sported a beard coming to spring training. And you know about Don Mattingly, the captain, the years of going back and forth with the long hair. How Donnie used to have like the mullet, in the back, and long sideburns. It was a joke. It was on the Simpsons, the cartoon, and with Mr. Burns, and just Yankees with the getting rid of the facial hair policy for the first time in, like we said, about 50 years. Big culture change. Now there's still, how the general partner, the owner, was talking about how they're still going to do, the hair can't be below the collar. So it's not just long hair, no long hair allowed. Well groomed beards that the Yankees are allowed to have. And it hasn't really you haven't really seen. It's been a long time since someone really challenged the rule. And you saw guys like Andrew McCutcheon come when he was traded. He had his dreadlocks. And even Johnny Damon joined in on the discussion. He shared a video on Instagram I saw, and he was for the old way, the old policy. And as you guys know me by now, I was also for the old policy. But thought about it a little bit. In 2025 now, it's a little, to be honest, yeah, a little bit too much. I mean, we talked about how, growing up Catholic school, and we had the shaving policy that, when I went to high school, and kind of just always adopted it. I just never really liked facial hair myself. But the generation, the young kids now, it's very, very different. And even saw a picture of my brother, who keeps his beard. John keeps his beard, very, very, neat and trimmed all the time. And I'm always more of a clean shaven guy. But George Steinbrenner, the old owner of the Yankees, God rest him, always said, wanted his players to look a certain way. And if you listened to the little press conference that Hal and Brian Cashman had, Cashman even talked about how with the it's recent years that the Yankees allow colored white cleats. It used to always be black spikes. You see the players wear different color accents on their equipment, batting gloves, arm sleeves. You see Yankees now where they have different types of haircuts, um, tattoos on the neck, face, guys with tattoos on the arm sleeves. Very very different now, and it's very very different. Everyone has different styles. To each their own, and the Yankees getting with the times now from someone, and all of us who, were very familiar with how the Yankees were very, very strict with this policy. And now it was just a monumental change of how dropping the news that they're changing the policy. And really, to the cultural change in all of it is that they're still tying into the winning because Hal talked about how basically in a nutshell, if it ever had any implement of not being able to get some of the best players, then of course they'd want the rule to go away because they want to get the best players, and whatever gives the Yankees the best ability to win, and to close it with the culture change, and it all tied in together, but all in all, what you take from it is the Yankees, still want to win. Aaron Judge, the captain, said that he's going to keep himself clean shaven. We'll see, throughout the season who's going to have beards or not. I guess it'll be fun, for some people who like that type of stuff to see the different type of styles that the players are going to have going, and hopefully, whatever it is, hopefully it just brings some more winning to the team, and get players to be more comfortable. I know, just it was about time they get with the times, and even Brian Cashman joked about it. Said, we're like a big naval ship, and it takes a long time for them to turn. And he said, maybe I don't know if it's the best analogy because maybe they don't turn so slow, maybe they turn fast, but that's um, Yankees, it seems like just the whole weekend, from when the news dropped it into Friday into the throughout the weekend, and just the culture change. So you had Marcus Stroman, who came for his physical at the beginning of spring, missed the first 2 days, and there was the back and forth that Booney said he was talking to him, and Stroh was in a good place, and they had a good feeling he was going to come back before the February 22nd deadline, which he did. He already pitched in the first game of spring, and he's set to pitch on Tuesday. Carlos Carrasco tomorrow, but Stroh came in he sat out the first 2 days. Cashman and Booney spoke on, and couple of the quotes I had that stuck out to me from General Manager Brian Cashman was it was vintage Stroh. It was no big deal, and he's a competitor. Marcus Stroman was in his little media in the media, when they were asking him questions, on with the microphone, he was basically saying, emphasizing how he's a starter, and the Yankees agreed that he's a starter, and really, all in all, to me it seemed pretty much as like almost like a down. The Yankees were downplaying, and in the old days, you would kind of think that the Yankees wouldn't really allow that type any type of dialogue like all any of this to go down. But you know what? Like we said, different times. It seems as if the Yankees were downplaying, and Marcus Stroman's going to play a big portion play a big part of this team, be a big portion of this team, and Brian Cashman said he didn't request a trade. As of right now, everyone knows he's the sixth man in the rotation. Clark Schmidt had the barking back, and he threw a bullpen session on Friday. They said it was in front of Roger Clemens, and he was fired up. So, and Clark has been okay, but Marcus Stroman pitched the first game of spring. He's going to pitch again on Tuesday, like we said. And as of right now, he's a member of the New York Yankees, and doesn't really seem to me at the moment that he is going to be on the move. But it was just very, very interesting dialogue to me of how they downplayed the whole Marcus Stroman thing, and it really wasn't a big deal. Who knows? But with it coming down, coming to Stroman coming late, then the major facial hair policy change, and just seems like the Yankees are just trying to they want to separate themselves. They were saying how they still, because how we said the clean shaven policy was one of those things that made the Yankees. They want to kind of, not a rebrand, but kind of remake a new, what makes the Yankees. And honestly, if it just comes down to winning. Really comes down to winning. We're used to the Yankees, or a lot of people, a lot of people around my age, older, used to the Yankees winning two, back-to-back championships, not just one championship, back-to-back championships. Some of us three-peats, and get to those, the last team to three-peat is the Yankees, the 98, 99, and 2000. One of the, some of the three of the best ball clubs of all time, definitely. And that's what we want. We want the Yankees to get back to those days. So if it's someone coming to the ball club that wants to express themselves, with a beard, they're not going to be allowed to do it with long hair, but with the beard, it has to be nice and well groomed. So and that just see, it's like we said, it's 2025. um Yankees getting with the times, and let's see, there's a lot of interesting free agents next year. And it's not going to be like you saw a few active players, like some of the social media posts. Fernando Tatis Jr. You saw liked one of the, I want to say it was the "Let's Go Yanks" post of the beard policy. And it's just different time. Players, these young players coming up. It's just very different. And the Yankees, through the years, slowly have started, to look a little different, like we said, with the different uniforms. And you'll even, a lot of you remember, like with Brett Gardner, um, wearing different color cleats. And even back in 2015, um, when the Yankees, they all had the mustache fad going, where the half the team was shaving the mustaches. And it was what's going to be the new fad for the team. Are they going to make something fun out of it? We'll find out. But what's fun, and that's winning more ball games. And just to get into some of the injuries with spring training, and to catch up on some of the injuries that hopefully we can get past, so we can get back to winning more ball games. We're 3 games into spring training. A lot of us gotten that itch, baseball itch, taken care of. And now we're just back, but getting back in the groove. We're not quite at opening day yet. We'll be there almost. But some of the injuries, some major ones, is Giancarlo Stanton has the elbow tendonitis. They refer to it as like a tennis elbow, but elbow tendonitis in both elbows. He played through it last year. He played through it last year, throughout, late in the season, throughout the playoffs, and came back spring training this year. And he explained it as a pain tolerance being very high. And Giancarlo, there's no timetable for his return. The timing is imminent right now. Hopefully, if you had a guess, maybe May, around May, June-ish, if that. But right now they're saying there's no timetable for his return. And speaking of May and June, uh, Johnny Loizaga, that's when he's projected to come back around that time, late May, early June. Giancarlo, like we said, no timetable right now. Um, the early stages of that diagnosis with the elbow tendonitis. Jake Cousins has a forearm strain. He's in no throw time frame right now. Still no further updates from that. Chase Hampton, the top one of the top pitching prospects. There was reports of him early in the weekend of the UCL elbow injury, and he had Tommy John surgery for Chase Hampton. Trent Grisham came to camp with a hamstring injury. He's about Aaron Boone said today about 7 to 10 days away, and that. And Eric Reiselman, they said he had the allergic reaction. Didn't have it was brought to everyone's attention today that he didn't have an EpiPen. Now, being being a former camp counselor, very familiar with you know peanut allergy subject with some young people, and scary moment. He's very lucky that he was at the complex and they were able to rush him to the hospital, and he returned, and he actually saw him in the bowl game today. But glad Eric Reiselman's doing good. And like we said, the bowl games have started up. It's not really about the wins or losses here. You kind of want to look at who's playing what position, what's going on, how the at bats are looking. It's very early, obviously in the spring. But you saw Cody Bellinger make a nice play. There was a nice double from Paul Goldschmidt. Will Warren looked pretty good in the first game. Then you had, we saw Carlos Rodon yesterday in Toronto, and today with the talk was Jason Dominguez. Today he misplayed the two balls in the outfield. Just like Booney was saying, it's spring training and how Jason's going to have to earn it, and they're putting him in left field. Should he play center field, left field? They're going to put him in left field, and right now it's what it's going to be. And today, those two pop ups, just like last season, it really wasn't pretty, but really wasn't pretty. I mean, it wasn't so much the footwork. It really looked like he lost it in the sun. But really got these plays that got to be made. These are the one. This is the time where you want to make mistakes like that. It's very difficult, with the Grapefruit League, the Florida Sun, low level, minor league stadiums that they're playing in spring training. But there's really no excuse not to make the play because we know the narrative of Jason Dominguez, and just it's just something you don't want. You don't want to really become the story of the spring or one of the stories of the spring, and kind of you don't want it to become one of the stories of the spring. So just see how it plays out, from here on out. Hopefully the improvements we've read and heard about how he was doing. Jason Dominguez had the 10-day crash course with Luis Rojas in the outfield, and you hear all these good things and you hear how he's working. And then today the results weren't so good. We'll see how they are tomorrow or the next time he's in the lineup. But just really don't want that to become one of the narratives of spring. We don't know who's going to be the backup catcher as of yet. Ben Rice, J.C. Escara. We know he's going to hit Alex Jackson. We've seen, Jazz Chisholm at second base. They said Jazz and Volpe are going to be playing, pretty much the spring together, get that up the middle combo going. For third base, we saw Peraza and Oswaldo so far. Peraza played today. Still no DJ LeMayu yet. They said he was working on the backfields today. They had Garrett Cole throwing, and Aaron Judge was one of the hitters. DJ LeMayu with guys like Roger Clemens looking on. This is from what they were saying, the guest instructors. But I'm interested to see and hear about how LeMayu did, because just want to see what kind of shape he's in. He was talking about how he's lost sleep, since the last time we spoke. How he's lost sleep in the off season. He hasn't really been over not being reliable for the team, and we know the type of player that DJ LeMayu was, and in the past few years, pre injury issues that have become a regular occurrence, and we'll see what happens with third base. Everyone knows, the big story about third base right now. Who's it going to be? And doesn't seem like that it's coming from outside. It could. They could come via trade, but it doesn't really look that way right now. It pretty much seems that what's here in camp is going to get a chance to prove themselves, and if need be, in by the trade deadline, that they'll do something. And even Hal was talking about, when they were talking about the policy change. He was talking about the payroll and how it's pretty much the same as last year. And I just look at all this, and they don't want to go under that. They don't want to go over that Steve Cohen luxury tax, which they made the World Series at a certain salary last year, and he's the owner. He feels like that's what they should be at. So they do got to play the games. There's been a lot of improvements made to this ball club, as we know. It's just to the point now with guys got to stay healthy, and we're dealing with the few injuries that we have here already. And that's just now. We're at February 23rd, and little over a month. Opening day is on the 27th of March. So what's it going to be? What's the ball club going to look like? We'll find out. We will find out, and soon enough. But just the main thing is just getting everyone healthy. And what are we going to see with like prospects like Spencer Jones? Really, really makes you wonder with Giancarlo being it. Let's say Giancarlo is down and Spencer Jones really tears up spring training. We know that he has the strikeout problems in the minor leagues. He doesn't really have the seasoning yet, of player that really got to rock out in the AAA setting of minor league baseball. From Double A Somerset, he should be starting the season in AAA Scranton. But like we said here, and like we've talked about, we'd see him this year if something catastrophic happens injury wise. So how bad is it going to be? Now I'm just saying it's a hypothetical. I'm not saying that Spencer Jones is going to make the team out of spring training, but you never know. Highly doubt it. But if the injuries call for it, why not? I always say, why not do it at the beginning of the season rather than the middle of the season? But everyone has their opinion on that. Don't want to stunt his growth, but I would say, why not? If you need to, but not that they will have to, but you never know. Just throwing, just wanted to throw that out there. I highly doubt it will happen, but throwing it out there. And Yankees, like we said, with the culture, just a major culture change. Um, with all, and then even throwing in all the updates that they've been talking about. If you've been watching the games, all the updates to the facility, and how Tampa Bay Rays are going to be using that this season. That'll be real interesting, seeing a minor league team seeing a major league team utilizing a minor league stadium for the regular season. And this season we have two teams in the American League doing that. The Athletics also in Sacramento. It's just real interesting. They hold a lot less people, and in the ballpark, and it's just different, really different aesthetic to the game. And we'll like we said, we'll find out soon enough. And lastly, I was just looking down at all my notes. We didn't talk about one big thing. So Aaron Boone's extension. So I touched on it on my guest appearance, but that was before it was made it was made official. But Aaron Boone was given a contract extension, so now he's going into his eighth season, and it's through the 2027 season. So that gives him 10 years. So Joe Torre had 12 years as the Yankee manager. Joe Girardi, 10 years, and if it goes through all the way till 2027, as they said, his extension goes through then. So that will be 10 years for Aaron Boone. So um, he had his World Series appearance last year. Just I comparing the three recent managers. The success of Joe Torre, Joe Girardi. Did miss the playoffs a few times. Had the World Series in 2009, the Yankees' last one. So now we're 16 years from that. And Booney had his World Series appearance last year with some questionable decisions. But all in all, it does seem like the players love playing for Aaron Boone. Definitely, it seems like the players love playing for Aaron Boone, and he's their guy that gets them going, and runs this new, one of the ringleaders of the new Yankee culture, if you want to say, and just the play, he's eighth in winning percentage for Yankee managers. He passed Billy Martin in wins last season. And Booney, for a guy that had no managerial experience, no coaching experience beforehand. We know the family he comes from, and being a ex baseball player, but pretty damn good job. And we don't really have the playoff success that we'd want, but other than 2023, the Yankees are competitive every year. And most importantly, in this day and age, it's he's the guy that the players seem to respond to, and who are comfortable playing for. And just we haven't, and I say we haven't gotten over that final hump. We were very close to it last year, and that's the changes that are coming now. That's the point. That's the point. So the point that I want to make is, um, with the culture change, I think I think it's been so drastic because of the even though maybe the facial hair was still, you had to be shaven and short hair and buttoned up on the road trips and looking good. The tradition of Yankee winning and dominating wasn't there, and maybe they had a change in the culture because what, that stuffiness wasn't working. It wasn't working, and even though the Yankees are competitive pretty much every year, they make the playoffs. It's unacceptable to be knocked out in the division series, to lose game sevens in the championship series, and to talk about losing to the Dodgers in the World Series in embarrassing fashion and not winning a championship for 16 years now. That's not the Yankee way. The Yankee way is what we were talking about, is winning and dominating and having those back-to-back championships and three-peats. And you know what? From someone who, held certain rules the Yankees had near and dear to their hearts, seeing players now being the dad and an adult, seeing how people, the difference that could make by having these players be more comfortable. Maybe it really was a big deal. It's easy, oh, this guy, as the running joke every time the Yankees would have a free agent signing, anytime for a trade. Oh, go shave. He has to go get a haircut. No, go. Even me being one of them with the barber emojis, coming, talking to everybody, and it's just, it's different times now. It'd be better to get back to the old way. Now, I'm not saying, go out there and have long hair and look like a caveman, um, but that's definitely not the Yankee way. But go back and dominate and win. and have the best players in the world want to come to the New York Yankees like it used to be. They always, have how the perception used to be. So, let's get back to that. Let's get back to that. And in lighter news, and I'm actually old enough to remember um, when New York, when the Yankees won, there was always Frank Sinatra's rendition. When they lost back in the old days, they used to play Liza Minnelli's version. Today, and that didn't last too long, but today they announced officially that they are going to no longer play New York when the Yankees lose at home, and the song that they played today was "That's Life." So, and one of they said it's going to be a rotation of songs, so maybe we'll even see High Hopes in there. But let's see. Just light of news. It was always should have been that way. It was always like a running joke through a majority of the fan base of how when the Yankees lost, they still played the song. It was for for tourist reasons, for people who come to the ballpark. But no one was really going to Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees lose anyway, so it never made any sense. And we'll leave it at that. The ball game tomorrow, Yankees Red Sox in Fort Myers. They're expecting, just from what they were telling us, they're expecting a little bit of weather, so it's going to be at 4 o'clock, and you get that on your Gotham Sports app. You can go on there if you're into it. I'll probably be listening to a little bit of it on the way home from work. But tomorrow Yankees Red Sox, Stroman going Tuesday. Tomorrow's Carlos Cookie Carrasco. So you know if you want to grow your beards out. If you don't. Just God bless, and as always, go Yankees. Let's go. I'll talk to you guys. Have a good night. Have a good one.